Hi and welcome to the channel. Today we are down at the MDL dry stack to have a look at this Merry Fisher 895 Offshore. We've caught her literally just before she's about to go on sale, so I'll be honest, it needs a bit of a clean, but nevertheless it'll give us an idea to have a look on board, have a look around and see what a Merry Fisher 895 Offshore looks like. So let's start at the stern. As you can obviously see, she's got the blue hull stripe or hull colour on. This particular one is powered by two Yamaha 200 horsepower outboards, sorry. Depending on the you know, people on board and fuel and necessary bits and pieces, it's probably going to give you a top speed of around 37-38 knots. Cruising speed is probably going to be around about 23 to 25 knots, depending on loading and obviously in sea conditions. But these are quite cleverly designed boats, in all fairness. To start with, it's quite nice. There's a little side gate here, so it's easy for us to jump on and off now. But if your finger pontoon ends relatively short, you can gain access to the side boarding gate, because it is quite a high-sided vessel, which is really nice if you've got young children or pets, because it keeps them all in board. But down here you can see we have got the sort of extended bathing platform, swim platform with a ladder and a grab handle. And again, clever design. So this whole mechanism here slides forwards, as you can see on these tracks down here, and that enables you to lift the outdrives completely out of the water, so that when you're leaving the boat moored in the water rather than putting it on the dry stack, the entire outboard legs are clear of the water, so you don't get weed, anodization, anything like that. It's a really neat and effective way of storing these engines. But obviously it steals cockpit space, so when the engines are down as they are now, really simple, you move the seat back and you've got maximum cockpit space, which you can see is actually pretty decent. I'm sure you already guessed this, but the saloon table moves out into the cockpit, fills in this recess here, so across here, and then there's infill cushions that fill in and make this entire area a very large sun pad. So like a lot of these vessels, it is what we class as asymmetric decks. So the starboard side deck is slightly sunk and slightly wider than the port side deck, which is raised, so it's higher up and it's slightly narrower. Quite cleverly they have offset the stanchions, so you can still get around there quite comfortably. In fact, let's go around there first. So here you can now see the side gate, nice grab handle up here, that transfers to another grab handle up here, and again you can see how high the bulwark is and the stanchions are around here. Again, they're all offset. You can see here you've got the inputs for things like fuel and water, and obviously side door access. So again, if you are single-handed berthing, it's really neat. You can come out of here, a couple of steps down the side deck, takes you to the side boarding gate, and you're out and you've got access to the cleats. So that grab rail goes all the way forward, midships cleat, and then a couple of steps up takes us to the foredeck, where you can see we have fender baskets, so you can store your fenders in here. Currently we've got the foredeck cushions on board. Normally underneath one of these, I don't know which one it is, you would see, here we go, this one, there you go, foredeck hatch. So that would give light, and it gives you the ability to escape out of the fore hatch, and obviously ventilation as well. Anchor handling gear, cleats, little nav lights here forward, and then under this very large locker, on this rather uncomfortable to kneel on, I have to say, this anti-slip deck, we have the windlass, anchor chain, anchor remote controller. There's a manual handle there, so you can wind it manually if you want to, and then right at the bottom there we have all of the anchor chain and the rode that goes with that, and the rope. So we'll drop that back down. Again, you can see the side deck is obviously not sunken and much narrower on this side around here. Fender basket in use, and then there you've got the windscreen with some decent twin wipers. Up on top here you can see we have the floodlight, and you can also see the two opening sunroofs. I don't know if they're called sunroofs, but they look like sunroofs. They're basically hatches that slide back independently to give you fresh air ventilation through the cabin, and obviously you can shut them off. They're watertight, but they do give additional light and illumination inside the boat. So the whole, I'll take a step back off here a sec. So this whole area in the back here, as you can see, is covered with a canvas, and there are zip-in sections that fill in the whole back area. So if it's a wet or miserable day, you've still got the saloon, and you've obviously got the cockpit that you can use completely weather protected. So taking a step into the cabin, or into the saloon, on this side we have got the galley area. So as you can see, there's a double burner hob, mixer tap, and decent sized stainless sink. And then down here we have a little bit of storage in the form of a microwave. Is that a grill as well? I expect it probably is. And then up here, big pull-out drawer. Oh, blimey, that is a massive pull-out drawer. Massive pull-out drawer for all your bits and pieces. Little cutaway there for the sink waste. Let's pop that back in, drop that down. That logically moves forward to the helm position, and the fridge lives underneath the helm position. It's pretty standard Waco fridge down there. Nice standard Mary Fisher Jeanneau seat, as you would expect with the lift up bolster. I don't think anyone ever lifts these bolsters up because they're always very stiff. So you can stand, or if you're seated, there's a footrest there as well. And as we looked at from outside, you then have the side access door, which means you can move straight out of here forward if you're going to the forward cleats, or stern if you're heading back to jump off either the back or that side gate. But again, the side door with the roof ventilation, which we can see up here, makes this, along with the side windows and the side glass, which again also open, makes it a really airy light boat. So going back to the helm station, conventional steering wheel as you'd expect. Then there's a fusion system on here as well. There's a Lawrence navigation GPS system. There's the Yamaha engine control system, fully electronic throttles and shifters here. This one benefits from, and where you can see that over here, bow thruster. There's the kill cord. So the idea is you clip this onto your leg as you're driving. So if you did fall over the side, which is fairly unlikely on this sort of boat, it rips that cord out and kills the engines. And then down here are the engine starters. As I like to say, our usual array of cooling switches, and then Lenco trim tabs, so you can balance the boat out depending on what the wind's doing. Because of that big windscreen, you've then also got a couple of windscreen wipers. And I don't know if you noticed, but down here are the fuel cut-off switches. So in an emergency, you can pull these up, lift these up quickly, and they'll cut off the fuel to either one or both engines. So swinging back around, taking a step back out here, you then have on the port side the dinette, which again, I'm pretty confident that table drops down and gives you another berth, more sun lounging or luxuriating space. Down in here is your crockery drawer, so your cups and plates and pan pieces. So this seat here, as you can see in its current position, is facing aft, so it works very well with the dinette. But if you're going along, you can effectively pop that seat back like so, and then it becomes a very practical, very comfortable, forward-facing dual navigator seat. Pop that back, obviously with the grab handle, and again, really good access and viewing forwards. So if we take a step down into the sort of sleeping zone, a couple of steps down takes you into this lobby area. It looks like there's an access hatch down there as well. Straight into the fore cabin with a big double berth. Great illumination from these two slatted side windows. There's also continuation, if you like, of the windscreen that gives you extra light. So if I come back up here, you can see there's a big glass panel, as there is over this side, but this one is designed for the fore cabin. You also then have a sliding door, so it's a pocket door, so rather than it opening into here or opening into the fore cabin, it slides backwards and forwards into that bulkhead, so it doesn't actually take up any space. There is also storage under the bed via that little cupboard you can see there, or you can lift the entire bed up and gain access to this massive storage locker underneath. And also looks like the bed slides, so you can, I imagine, pull the bed towards us. Yeah, there you go. You can pull the bed forward like so. That opens up a gap in there, which you then slot that cushion in, so it makes the bed slightly longer for sleeping, but also gives you a bit more floor cabin space during the day. Access around both sides of the bed, which is nice and easy, making it easy to get in and out. As we looked at externally, there's that fore hatch to get in and out and to get ventilation. Quite nice mood lighting around here. A little bit of storage dropped in behind that fiddly there. There's also access into the cabin. Cupboard, sorry. In here you can now see this sliding door mechanism, so that slides across and fills in here. Going back into the lobby area, turn to starboard, takes us into the guest cabin, or second cabin, because they're both similar-ish sizes. Ventilation and illumination, and again now you can see that secondary glass panel we looked at earlier. Bit of storage down here in this little locker in here, like so, and then a surprisingly decent size undersole berth. So as you can see, it's actually pretty large. Big access hatches over there, couple of little cubby holes over there. Here you can see all of the infill cushions for the dinette and the cockpit fold out table. Little seat here for getting dressed, and there is headroom, standing headroom just in here if you're my height. Not standing headroom if you're probably much over 6 foot. But nevertheless, it's a pretty decent cabin, which then leads straight across to the main and single heads on board. Conventional Jabsco pump out loo. Again, really bright and light cabin. You've got 2 of the hull window bands in here. This little port light here opens to give ventilation. Conventional sink in here, and just behind the door you've got the drain for the shower down here, and then access here gives you access to behind the dashboard. Water switch in there. I can't look at the shower, must be, oh yeah, the same as my boat, look. So this again, as always, pulls out, clips up here to give you a shower. But decent cabin. Bearing in mind this is an under 9 metre boat. So step back here. Let's just have a quick look, shall we, while we're down here, see what is under this little hatch. Oh, so there you go. Looks like the screen wash pump actually, and the main water pump is under there. I could be wrong, please correct me in the comments if I am. So let's go back up here. Oh look, there's some illumination underneath the fridge and the galley area. Couple of power points over there. But I say with really bright an area. So these windows open completely. The saloon sunroofs, if that's what they're called, open as well. Side door opens. You can see the Lawrence VHF radio there, and a controller here for the spotlight. Yeah, really surprisingly spacious. These boats always remind me or amaze me about how spacious they are. Lots of versatility. So you can fold that down, make that a double bed or a sun pad. You can fold that down and make that a double sun pad. You've got 2 fixed permanent berths and a fully functioning head. So I hope you've enjoyed that. That is the Mary Fisher 895 Offshore. Thanks for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time round.